Another great what-if analysis tool in Excel is using the add-in feature called Solver. The way Solver works, it's an analysis tool that will find the lowest, the highest, or a specific amount for a formula by changing other cell values within certain limitations that you set. It sort of works in reverse order. You know the answer that you want to find. So you know a direct answer. You ask Excel to find that answer by changing other variables. Now, sometimes Excel will not be able to find a answer, but most of the time it does. So here's an example of purchasing a home for $150,000. We put $10,000 down. The interest rate is 5.96%. The loan is 30 years. We're going to pay $835.77 a month for a total of 360 months. That's 12 months a year times 30 years. We're going to end up paying over $300,000 for the loan and over $160,000 for interest. Right? So you're actually paying more in interest than you actually are borrowing in the amount of the loan. So you ask yourself, so you've have done some shopping, and you know you can qualify for a mortgage interest rate between 4 and 6% and between 5 and 15 and 30 years. And you know, and you want, you know you can afford up to a monthly payment of $1,000. So, but no more than that. So we're going to ask Solver to solve the problem and find us an interest rate and the year for loans to give us the smallest total interest paid. All right, Solver is not directly on a ribbon. You have to add it in. So you need to go up to your File ribbon, come down to Options, click on Add-ins on the left-hand side, click Go, and check the Solver add-in. If you click on your Data ribbon, you will see Solver off to the right-hand side. Let's open it up, and here's what we're going to build. So we want to it says set the objective. Our objective is to set the total interest paid, which is in B14, to the smallest amount. So we're going to choose min. By changing the interest rate and the years of the loan in B4 and B5. Now, we need to add some constraints. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say I know I can have my monthly payment has to be less than or equal to $1,000. So that's one constraint. I know my interest rate in B4 has to be less than or equal to 6%, and the interest rate has to be greater than or equal to 4%. I'm going to say the years for the loan have to be less than or equal to 30, and the years for the loan have to be greater than or equal to 15. Okay, now I also need to make sure that my years is an integer. I can't go 3.2 years. So I'm going to add another constraint that says the years in B5 have to be an integer. I'll add that. Okay, so we have our monthly payment has to be less than or equal to 1,000. Our interest rate has to be between 4 and 6%. Our term or years for the loan is between 15 and 30 years. and the years must be a full number integers. Okay? Check to make sure your variables are non-negative. The way Solver works, if you don't have that checked, it's going to add negative numbers in, and it will give you a real bizarre answer. And then you want to make sure it's this non-linear, and so it doesn't go through so many iterations. Okay? It's a little bit smoother. Your other options are simplex or evolutionary. That would go through thousands of iterations. So what Excel does here is it starts putting in values into B4, B5 that fit these parameters to come up and solve the answer. Okay? So let's see if it can come up with an answer. We're going to go ahead and click Solve. And sure enough, it did. It says, it changed. It says, oh, we can get a 4% interest rate for 16 years. Your monthly payment is going to be $988. And look at that. Your total interest paid is going to drop down to less than $50,000. Now, we can say okay and keep the Solver solution, or we can sit there and say restore the original values. Let's click Save the Scenario, and we'll call it the least interest paid, and click OK. Okay, so all right, and now we can go ahead and let's click the answer report and go ahead and click OK. And we get a brand new answer report here. And what this report shows is that it solved the problem that originally we're paying $160,000 for total interest. This brought it down to under $50,000. By changing our interest rate from 5.96% to 4% and the loan from 30 to 16 years. And it gives you just various things about how binding and if it was binding, meaning it met it to, so here's one that bound, it met to the limit. 4% was the smallest amount and it met that, where the other ones weren't quite, some of them weren't quite binding. Okay? And that is how Solver works.